All right, everybody, thank you for jumping on with us for our Tri State Training Day podcast. I got my man, an elite producer, Jonah Lewis, FFL Prosper Financial. And he is just a stone cold, I want to say killer, but it just sounds brutal. But he does a great job protecting families in our business. And, I got some time with you at convention, Jonah, just to kind of talk and go through some of your business. And I'm impressed, bro, and I'm happy to have you on here. So, how you doing today, bro?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor.
Well, it's an honor to have you on, and gotten to see you at convention, talk on stage, and then got some one-on-one time with you. I mean, your trajectory is going north, and I'm excited about what you're doing. But anyone who's helping 700 plus families in a year is doing great things and understands consistency and understands discipline. And I think a lot of times, Jonah, what we're trying to do is instill those things, consistency and discipline, as best we can, into as many people as we can, because we know if they do that, they're going to do well in life, right? They're going to do well here anyway. Um, so when you think about some of the things that have kind of put you in this place of dominating your schedule, dominating the basics, buying leads consistently, what helped make that up for you on this journey?
Number one is being in a healthy state of mind. And for me, it all starts, it just starts by taking care of yourself. And it just goes back to basic stuff. Taking care of your body, eating clean, working out, reading your Bible, meditating, whatever you do spiritually. When you really hone in on that aspect of your life, that helps you in every other trajectory and gives you that consistency, gives you that efficiency, gives you that clarity of mind that you need to really propel forward in business.
Yeah, it's strong. I mean, again, back to mindset and taking care of that thing. I mean, it's so important
I
in
mean, it's
life.
so simple, but it's everything.
I know, right? It's so important, man. But that's awesome. Let's talk about Prosper Financial. You know, um, when you decided that you're going to become an elite producer and try to help 60 plus families a month, that was a decision. It was obviously based on a rhythm that you had and how many hours that would take and how many leads that would take. But when you decided to do that, and it created a consistency not only in mindset, but also consistency in cash flow. And you and I both know consistency in cash flow allows your brain to kind of open up and think about things you want to do. And part of our business involves business building. So, what made you want to start building a business?
Man, honestly, Mark, so I'll go back to when I first started. To be honest, I didn't want to build a business and I didn't want to be irresponsible for anybody. I just wanted to go out, write a bunch of business myself, make a bunch of money, and that was that. But I've been, after doing that for a while, it gets a little old, and I got a few of my good buddies into the business, and I was like, man, this is honestly a lot more fun doing it with other people
Ha.
and building it with other people.
Ha, 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 ha.
And then I just obviously saw like the overrides and the passive income from that, and I'm like, I would actually really like to enjoy building. And so that's I hit Hall of Fame the past 2 years, written a decent amount of life insurance. So my main focus this year is building the business and helping and serving others and putting them in a better position. Because really, this opportunity changed my life. I was making 14.50 an hour before this, and if I'm not helping and sharing and providing other people with this vehicle and showing them how to do it, then I really am being selfish.
That's interesting. And so, how long ago did that thought process become challenging enough to change your behavior?
Mm, about a year ago, this
Okay.
time last year,
Did you have anyone with you on your team prior to that, or was it just you?
I did.
About how many
I did.
people?
I had a few people, and honestly, I had a bad taste in my mouth towards hiring and towards recruiting because I hired the wrong people
Hmm.
and I didn't know what I was doing. And I hired people that weren't serious. And so that put a bad taste in my mouth, but made a couple mistakes, failed a little bit, made some tweaks and adjustments, and finally doing the right thing. And like what I told you at convention, finally more importantly, finding the right people to work with.
That's amazing. So let's talk about it, man. You finally have your mind right on building. You want to do it. You're excited about helping other people. You want to see other people win. You feel it's more fun to do this with others. Amen. I love it. I mean, I feel the same exact way. And when that gets in you, it's different, right? So, what are some things that you're putting into place for 2023 to be massive when it comes to building a business? What are some of your recruiting strategies, onboarding strategies? How are you looking at this thing right now?
Yeah, it's I actually have a very I don't know I don't know if you like this or not, Mark, but I have a very non-conventional style towards hiring. I mean, I shared it with you at convention, and because I had the whole deal where I had a recruiter, and we were putting 25, 50 people a week through the course, and some of them would, some of them wouldn't work out, and it was like, to be honest, it was exhausting. And I know some people that do that. I know some people are successful with that, but for me, is like I only want to work with people that we align the same values, and I would much rather build this right and build this solid than build it fast. Like, of course, I want to build it fast, and of course, I want to be big, but I'm more focused on quality.
Yeah.
So anybody I do hire that I think it would be a good fit, obviously, you want to make sure that you're putting them in a better position as well, because of course, nobody's going to join this, coming from what they were doing to this and putting themselves in the worst position. So you want to make sure it's a good position for them, obviously a good position for you, because as you're aware, Mark, we're all busy. I'm writing business. We all have things to do, and we all have responsibilities. So it's like, when really, to get a guy good and to get somebody onboarded into writing 30, 40, 50 grand, families a month, you've got to like pour a lot of time and energy into that. And before you do that, I would much rather invest that time up front in that person and take them through, 2, 3, even 4 hiring interviews, and making sure it is a good fit mutually, than just bring them on board and then I'm wasting more time on the back end. So I'm a lot more strict on who I hire. I want to make sure anybody we bring on, I can bring the right, have the right resources and energy to pour into them to make sure they are successful. And honestly, it's a lot more fun. It's what's working for me.
Yeah. And by the way, quality equals quantity. We went to a phrase like I used to say for 9, maybe 10, 8 years. I want to hire a quantity of quality. So what that means,
Mm-hmm.
Jonah, is if we could hire 100 quality people today, we'll do it. The fact of the matter is you can't hire 100 quality people today. You just can't. Those odds.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, those odds don't make that much sense. So I got to a point in my career where we were, like you said, it's exhausting, and it's not really a quantity of quality. So we got to a point about a year and a half ago, we said quality over everything. Meaning, like,
Mm-hmm.
if we don't vet them, if we don't take the opportunity away from them, if they don't fight back for the opportunity, if they're not warm market, then it's like we don't want to work. We don't need to work with them because you can't just work with everyone, right? So when you hire the right people, you actually put more torque on the business. So it's not really building it slow. It just feels like it starts slow. But when you hire the right people, that momentum picks up quick, And not everyone you hire that you think is the right person is going to do it. But if you keep stacking the deck with quality, you can't lose. So we don't hire quantity either. I mean, it doesn't make sense in our business because you can hire everyone. But so when you think about that strategy and how it's playing out right now, you're building it with people that you like, and you're building it with people with like values. So when you start the landscape of going from 250 families a month, which is where you're surfacing now, to trying to go to 1,000 families a month, what are some processes you're putting in place, not just for you, but for your team and some of your leaders that are also looking to take this thing to the top with you?
Yeah, good question. So obviously, the goal is to show them how to write enough, to pay their bills and have some extra and put them in a better financial position. But on top of that, just tapping into their own market. Because we were talking about this at convention, Mark. It's, the best quality people you're going to find are people that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're really working on tapping into my warm market, and then as well as their warm market and who they know. And it's the same thing. We're bringing them through a 4 interviews, 3-step hiring process, very structured, and seeing if it's a good fit. And I do a lot of hiring calls, and a lot of times it's not a good fit, and it's like, no worries, we won't be working together. But if you do align with our core values, you do align with what we're looking for, and you are hungry and you're humble and you want to put yourself in a better position, then great. We'll get you onboarded and everything you can to make sure you're successful.
How simple is that, man? It doesn't it take doesn't it take the nonsensical pressure off?
Yeah.
Right. And then when you think about, again, it's not just, hey, Tom, I hired Tom. Tom's warm market. Tom's warm market has warm market. And the sharpest, how were you hired, Jonah?
I was actually hired cold.
Through what?
ZipRecruiter.
Really?
So it does work.
It does work. Everything works a little bit.
It does work.
Listen, Ivan Bedroff is technically from Cold Market, so I am out at that. But okay, so and then who your top few people? How did you hire them?
Warm market, and then I hired them on Instagram too. Mix of warm market and Instagram.
Okay. And we know you don't DM someone and they go, yeah, man, I'm excited. Let's go. They, Instagram usually it becomes warm market because you have to get to know each other and they take some time at times, right? They don't just run into your arms all the time, yeah?
Correct.
Are you messaging a lot right now on Instagram?
Yes.
What is a form of a message that you'll use introductory to try to get someone's attention?
Yeah. So I like to target a lot of gym goers because I enjoy working out, and that's something I align with. So I recommend targeting a niche that you actually enjoy, whether it's cooking or whatever it is. So for me, it's gym goers, and I just shoot them a DM. I'm like, hey, you're crushing the gym, or you're crushing in the gym. Keep it up. What are you doing for work? Or do you keep your options open? And then we'll go back and forth a bit. We'll hop on a call, hop on an interview. Very traditional. Find out what they're doing, find out what they're looking for, what their values are, and if it makes sense.
So is it that direct and that simple? That's your intro?
Correct.
And what are you looking for?
People that are hardworking, that are hungry, disciplined, have integrity, and want to put themselves and their family in a better position.
Got it. And then when you are targeting people who go to the gym, that to you is your profile makeup because they're already working out, yes?
Yes.
And do you find yourself, would you say is your success ratio on that message? In other words, how many people generally, if you send out 100, how many do you start dialoguing with?
I send out 100. About 4 or 5 of them will respond, and I'll probably hop on a call with 1 or 2.
That's very interesting. How often do you send out 100 messages?
50 a day.
Okay.
So every 2 days.
Okay. That's good. You start feeding that pipeline. I like that. It's methodical. And do you ever get like, backlag where people, kind of show back up? Like once you start doing 50, that's 350 messages a week. That starts to compound after a few months. What has that been like, that follow up and follow through?
It's been good. I'm not getting as many leads as I want, to be honest with you, Mark. Mm-hmm. I'd obviously like more, but Instagram caps the amount of DMs you can send out. But the leads I'm getting, they're quality. I'm having good conversations, but ultimately it's people like me that I can actually relate to. And, we have the same values. We're aligned the same way. We have the same way of thinking. We have similar things in common. And for that, it's just like natural. Like it just makes sense to work together. When you genuinely enjoy being around somebody versus, for me, I was hiring people that, were 40 and 50 years old with 4 kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's great, but I'm not married. I don't have kids, and I'm not 50 years old. So it's hard for me to really connect with you on that level and build a business with you.
I love it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I really enjoy what you just said. Um, wow, that's good. That's actually deeper than it came across. So you're saying that your former way of hiring was bringing you everyone, and your current way of hiring is bringing people that value a lot of the things you value.
Correct.
That's very strong. I hope people are listening to that because essentially you're targeting your people and you relate to them well. So it's easy to talk to them however you talk to them or however they talk to you. The language is very much similar. They're youthful, they work out, there's all these things that you discussed, which is not like rocket science, but it sure puts the battery in your back to go out and do whatever. Those conversations are just better conversations.
And when you're doing it that way, it doesn't even feel like work.
That's awesome.
I do this all day, every day. Oh,
that's really good.
This is what I do.
That's amazing. I love that. Let's talk about it because you are a guy who helps a lot of families, So when you're hiring people and you're trying to show them how you sell as much as you do and how they can do the same if they go to work, what are some things you're doing? Now you got these people, they're out of class, they're ready to rip. What happens then, Jonah? What are your processes from there to get them rolling?
Yeah. So, if they're local, obviously in the office, Mondays and Thursdays for sure, if not more. Of course, have to be in the office, mandatory. I wouldn't hire you if you weren't willing to. If they're not local, we're on Zoom, 7:30 a.m. If you're not on Zoom, I make that very clear. You have to be on Zoom. Don't hire you if you're not willing to be on Zoom. Not 7:35, not 7:30, 7:30. Making our first dial, and then they're shadow or doing role play. If they're not local, it's tough. So a lot of times I'll get guys to come in to Chicago and just shadow me in the field and come in person because I'm big on that in-person connection. That's a big deal to me. But if not, we'll just be going through their home on Zoom, dialing together on Zoom, pretty much everything together on Zoom. And then my local guys, like I said, I'm bringing them in the car with me, bringing them out in the field. I'm all telesales now, so I'm actually not in the field anymore. So I just got guys in the office with me.
That's great.
They'll sit in my office and we're on Zoom, and they'll just listen to me, help families, and do my thing.
Now you doing, I love it, telesales. And by the way, with the Zoom / people in the office, yes, they learn faster and you can train more people at once. Are you doing a call to close or are you doing booking appointments?
I'm doing booked appointments.
All tele though, not Zoom.
So I'll do a mix of both.
Okay.
So I do all three. So I prefer to get them on a FaceTime or a Zoom.
Okay.
Just so you have that personal connection with them. But obviously, if they're 75 and they don't know how to use technology, then we'll take care of it on the phone.
Got it.
But
okay.
I prefer either FaceTime or Zoom.
Got it. What are you doing to keep your appointment ratios intact? Your show ratio intact in a virtual platform? What are some of the things you're doing to still hit your numbers and ensure the level of success you desire?
Yeah, that's a great question because that was actually something that was my big struggle transitioning from in-home to telesales. Because obviously we've all had those appointments where you ship to the house, oh, we forgot about our appointment, but all right, you're here, so come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same on telesales. So you really gotta tie it down a lot more. So one thing I did is actually have my Calendly set up. So it sends them a text when I book the appointment. It sends them a text 12 hours before the appointment, and it sends them a text an hour before. And then I'm personally reaching out to them 30 minutes before on my cell phone. So you see like the blue text emoji. It's not green, it's blue. It's I'm a real person and reaching them 30 minutes before. I just friendly reminder of our appointment in 30 minutes. And then on the phone, I tell them, I'm like, hey guys, I'm busy. I got 10 families to see tomorrow. Is there any reason you would not be able to speak at 5 p.m.? Got it. Okay. The reason I asked that is because if something did come up, please let me know. Because obviously, if you don't make that appointment, John, that is a spot we're taking away from another family that does need our help. So he will be present. Got it. Perfect. And I'm giving him all my information. I also like to give him a security code. I'm like, hey, so write the security code down, and I'm actually going to need you to keep that safe with the appointment details, because I'm going to need that to proceed for the appointment tomorrow. So I'm just using little tie downs like that, and everything works a little bit.
Yeah, very strong processes, tie downs, and obviously you're teaching us at scale. When you see, the success rate that you're able to have, and you see, people starting to have some level of success, how fast are you introducing them to recruiting?
Before I waited too long, to be honest with you. So now it's right away. Like right when they make their first sale, I'm like, hey, who do you know that potentially benefit from this? Or who do you know that's struggling in their job, looking for something different? Maybe they're an employee. Maybe they want to be employed on their self, be in control of their schedule, their time, and their income, and not be salaried. And honestly, there's a lot more people than you think. So typically after they make their first sale, they're excited. That's when I'm having them reach in their warm market and set up calls, doing the interview process, da-da-da.
Dude, just a complete stud on, the process and where it's going. What are your goals for 2023? When you look at the personal production side and then your business, Prosper Financial, what do you see for that in 2023?
Well, number one is I want to be doing 1,000 families a month as soon as possible. So my main goal this year is building the business. That's number one. Secondly, of course, at Hall of Fame, I'll probably write 500,000-600,000. But really, like right now, like I said, my main goal is building the business. So pretty much how my schedule works is structured as of now. I focus on helping 10 to 15 families a week as fast as possible, so I can spend the rest of that time building the business, supporting the agents, and helping them become successful.
Got it. So you're not a guy that's just going to run his schedule no matter what. You're going to get to your goal as fast as you can for the week and then move the time. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Okay. How do you?
That was me last year.
What?
So last year I was running my schedule no matter what.
Okay.
So I had my schedule. That was my schedule. But this year,
understood. So, and last year you helped almost 800 families. So you're saying, hey, I don't need to go to that level of production because I don't want it to take away from my business building. I'm going to continue to prove the model, continue to stay profitable by helping 40, 50 families a month. And I'm going to take that remainder of time and I'm going to focus it on mentoring agents and recruiting. Yes?
Yes, correct.
It's a great transition, Jonah, because it doesn't, like some guys whittle down to like helping 20 families a month while trying to, I'm like, why would you shock your own cash flow when it's relatively simple for you to make that? And there's a lot of time in the week, utilize your time right, so I love this model here of, helping 500 plus families a year and building a business. Dude, I see this thing exploding for you.
God willing. God willing. That is the goal.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for pouring in again. And dude, you're doing this at a very young age. It's very attractive and impressive. I think a lot of people would want to follow you, So, if somebody wanted to reach out to you and wanted to work with you, what would be a plug? How can they find you?
Yeah, for sure. So just shoot me a text. My number is 605 area code 400-6716. Or else I don't really use Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Jonah Lewis, and that's where to find me.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on our Training Day podcast. Thank you for listening, everybody. We love you. Jonah, you the man, brother. Appreciate you.